Welcome to chapter 14, my favorite chapter. We talk about the clone, the heal, and the spot healing brush. Next to my other favorite chapter, Camera Raw, which was in the previous two lessons. So go ahead and select Cloning Technique. Right click and choose Edit with Photoshop Elements Editor. I'm going to select the Zoom tool. I'm going to fill the screen so you see a little bit better. Okay. We're going to talk about this tool right here, the Clone Stamp tool, shortcut S. The clone stamp, it literally duplicates the clone source and paints it over the original information. The clone stamp tool is more effective with a softer and larger brush in relationship to the problem you're trying to fix. And this is according to Katrine, which is basically the mother of all restoration. Okay? So as soon as I define a point as a source, let's say the eyeball, watch what happens. Photoshop Elements 10 says, hey, if you're going to use this tool, you have to be in 8-bit. So I click OK, it converts it to 8-bit, fine. To define a source, you press Alt and click. And also, I'm sorry, but make sure that your soft edge brush, so we'll choose 9. Make sure your mode is normal. Your opacity is at 100% always for cloning. And then we're going to talk about what this means and this means. But let's leave the align checked. What that means is when I sample and I press the right bracket key to increase my brush so you see it better, it's going to copy this source to right here. And wherever I move my brush, the cursor is going to follow. So I can paint the other eye, and if I move down, I can paint the nose, and if I wanted, I could paint the mouth here, even on top of this. So it literally copies it over it. That's what the align means. Now if I uncheck the align and I select the mouth, I can paint the mouth over here. And if I let go of my mouse and I click again, I can paint the mouse again. And if I do it again, you can see I can keep doing this all day. Now let's see that I obviously made a mistake and I don't want the mouse. What can I do? Well, you can go to Window and choose Undo History. And you can go back one step. And see how each mouth will disappear as I go back one step? This is the Undo History panel. So this is another way of going back if you want to certain steps. And then starting all over and say that maybe you wanted the mouth really here or something, you know? But as soon as you do that, it erases all the steps that were there before. So just let you know about the Undo History. So let me close that. That's just an option. Another way is we can go to Edit Revert to bring this back to a 16-bit. Okay. We're going to choose the Clone Stamp tool again. And this time we're going to say Align, Sample All Layers. And this time our goal is to get rid of this distracting object in the photo. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so we can see it better. And then define a source. So this is kind of tricky because I have this right here. So how would I do it? Okay, press the clone stamp. I'm going to have to, as soon as I click, it's going to convert it to 8-bit automatically. I'm going to press New Layer, create a new layer. We're going to rename that layer Cloning, C-L-O-N-I-N-G. If you wanted to, you can delete this layer. Press Alt in the new layer, and that will allow you to name it automatically as it creates the new layer. See? Now, why is this layer important? Any of the correcting that we do is done on this layer. It samples from the background because sample all layers has been checked, but it doesn't destroy the background. It keeps it intact. It places all the correct information on the cloning level. Okay? So let me go ahead and reduce my brush size here. Define the source. It's usually next to it by alt clicking and then going over it slowly. Okay, and let me sample on the other side and then move down. Okay, now since I have good information, I usually go from the outside in. Since I have already good information to work with, then I can sample that good information and build on it and then go down. And that's the trick with the cloning tool. Sample often and always work from outside in. And with the cloning tool, you always have to avoid the cloning effect. This is the cloning effect. So if I were to sample, let's say if I wanted to be smart and clone from over here, this lighting over here may be a little bit different from this lighting, so watch what happens. As you can tell, look, you can see what happens. This becomes darker. So you can see that this is obviously cloning and it's bad. You do not want this. And that's why you Sample often and sample close so that the lighting stays the same. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about how to use the spot healing brush.